Also from Evagrius, anti-Articus, or the so-called Great Respeech.s. This is a very simple method. If, for example, Evagrius explains it using psalm verses when you are depressed and recommends you to say psalm verses often, what do I know? All I can think of now is the silly version from the GDR. If you feel trapped and imprisoned, perhaps you should now meditate again and again in the free transmission of Evagrios, "With my God I jump over walls" as a psalm verse. Always focus on the opposite. I had already recommended this technique in my orange book, Mysticism and Coaching. So there's the great Evagrios with Antireticus behind him. Or if you feel completely powerless or constantly socially intimidated and embarrassed, imagine yourself being super popular. So the same principle is behind my neuro meditations. Someone who says, "I've always been good," then I say, "Phew, choose an opposite topic here," and listen to it often. So instead of dwelling on it forever in therapy, my 3 siblings were already suicidal, and I also prefer to live with the curtains drawn. You can talk about that for 3 hours now. Any monk or meditation master would say, great customer loyalty for the therapist, but the guy is also more likely to become suicidal. What would the monk master say? Okay, enough. Or how much money do you want to give me now? I recommend you now either give you a psalm verse, i.e., very classic, which focuses you on exactly the opposite, because the hypnotherapist Milton Erickson would now give you an exercise in nature, go up the mountain and look in that direction at such and such a time of day, so that you immerse yourself in the energy that you are missing. And such a method today, just like with neuros, so I often hear the opposite. So if you mistreat or abuse yourself unlovingly, you will, for example, increase self-love or be super likable or make true friends. Of course, if you hear those things, you can really bang it again. So from tantrums to panic attacks, help if I'm popular, what would mom say then? She always just wants to keep me small. So it doesn't happen entirely without friction, because that always leads to the old line of conflict. But it's the fastest way. You don't need to reconstruct how dog shit got into your shoe shafts, what type of dog it came from, what the expiry time will be. So the basic question is, do you want to keep it there or not? Do you want the smell in the apartment now, or do you want to get rid of it today or tomorrow? So you have freedom of choice. So if you don't want the smell in your apartment, but don't want to get rid of it today, just put the thing in front of the door and leave it in the stairwell. These are typical Berlin solutions to such a topic, and it's similar with old biographical topics. It is a foreign energy. Whoever made you small tried to compensate for their own smallness, and has a great need for Velcro dependency. He needs you like an alcoholic needs the bottle, because otherwise he might have panicked. That's why he'll always tell you that you'll never amount to anything or something like that. For example, my father needed me as a blind man and constantly belittled and insulted me. He never said thank you. You dive to life like a porcupine to wipe your ass. Unfortunately, my mother had the counter-program. She wanted a highly intellectual show-off poster child. So now I had 2 messages. Being a failure and being super successful. It's really difficult with the parents. You can never please them. So, again, not as an accusation, but to show that the old people are usually really crazy. It has nothing to do with you. Neither her megalomania nor her daughter should at least study medicine. Still, I have my father as an 8th grade student and blind. You're supposed to be even more stupid and stupid than me. I wouldn't tolerate anything else. Both topics and stories and hopes and dreams and fantasies have nothing to do with you. Therefore often domestic energies with shoe groove stuff. But it is the same with culture. Don't take other people's stories too seriously. Instead of saying, what place is left for me? Maybe to say, I don't like any of these stories. I am on earth to live my own story first, and I won't impose it on the entire world in a Stalinist way. The world should heal because of Sabine's being. No, I just live my energy. Trust this. Humans are Wi-Fi creatures, and whoever likes it will come to me. And every now and then I meditate that the people who are looking for what I offer find me playful and easy. Because I even send on WLAN level, you don't need to use the voice or expensive advertising technology.